I'm recording. We've been having some problems with that. So I'm going to get started here. And I see that we have 23 of you in here. That's pretty good. We had, last time I looked at it, there were 36 of you that had taken the little quiz this morning, the pre-quiz. If you haven't taken that, I would ask that you take that today. If you take it afterwards, you're going to know some of the answers, but that's okay. Excuse me. So today we're going to be talking about email and email etiquette and some of the things that 7th grade teachers have been seeing as they've been getting emails from you, which haven't always been good. So we're going to go ahead and start talking about that. I'm going to go to my slide really quick. And I'm going to put it up so you guys can see it. Whoops. Apologize. I'm popping all over the place here. So I'm going to turn this on.
Hi, I have a question. So on the last question, is it fine if I pick one of?
Yes, because Serenity sent me a message saying that I had made a mistake and had made it only, you could only choose one. Yes, there were 3 possible answers, and for some reason I made it so you could only choose one. So that's fine. If you choose the one. If you choose one of the correct, you get the 3 points for it. So,
okay.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead. Can everyone see my screen okay? It should say email etiquette. Just one person answer.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, great.
I can't see it.
You can't see it? Okay, it'll be in the video today, but you'll hear me talking through it too. So hopefully you can't see it because you're on your phone or because...
I don't know. I just can't see like the...
Can you see me talking?
Yeah, I can see you talking.
Okay. Is there anyone else who cannot see my email etiquette screen? Okay, I'll share this with you then later so that you can see the
Oh wait, I got it.
Okay, great. Okay, good. So we're going to be talking about email etiquette today, and so we're looking at the email structure. When you open an email, you see who it's to. You see what the subject is. You see this CC and this BCC. Now, let me explain this. CC stands for carbon copy. That means it will make a copy. It will carbon copy that message or that email to someone else in your group. Everyone who's in your to and in your carbon copy can see the email, okay, and can see who you're emailing. So if you want it to be sort of private so they can't see each other's addresses, you would want what we call the BCC or the blind carbon copy, okay? When I send out the announcements in the morning, I always do a blind carbon copy because you can see that I have sent it. You can see who I send it to, the first 2, and then you can see to yourself, okay? But you don't see all the 678 people that I send it to. If you get something that you are blind carbon copied to, when you reply to it, it only goes to the person who sent it to you. It doesn't go to everyone else. I have been getting a lot of emails lately that have no subject in them. Not good form. Now, I have to apologize to you because a couple of you have received emails from me that had no subject in them. I've been sending emails to the entire class through Progress Book, and sometimes it deletes my subject before I send it, and I don't realize it. So you should always have a subject in here. Down here, I'm sure you guys are familiar with these different things. So this is my Bitmoji, which I would not use normally with the emails that we're going to be talking about. This is if you have text. This is if you want to attach an item that's on your computer. or this is if you have a file or a link to a website that you want to put in there, emoticon. And then this is Google Drive, and this is if you have an image. How many of you, when you go to send something to someone, and someone has their microphone on, could you turn it off for just a moment, please? Okay. How many of you, when you go to send something, and you can just sort of put your hand up because I'm going to be able to see your screen here in just a minute, have sent something to someone and you just drug the picture over from your desktop, and then they say, hey, I didn't get whatever that was. That is because sometimes email, especially Google, will, when you drag something over, it will not drag the full file over. And so it gets stuck. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. The best way to do it is to always grab that, do it with an image or to do it as a linked file. So I'm going to present again here, and we're going to go back to this. Now, we have two different ways that we want to send email. And I'm going to go back over here. You have your recipient that you have to put in there. You have a greeting. So, dear Mrs. Madison. You have your body, what information you're going to put in there. You have a salutation. Sincerely yours. Thank you. However you want to put that. And then you have your signature. Now, I will be showing this later, but if you don't already have your signature in there, you can add your signature in. And it can have whatever you want in the signature. But automatically, when I open up an email to send, it automatically puts this in here, my signature in there. And I'll show you here in just a minute. We have two different types of emails that we send. We send our personal email, and then we send our business emails. Personal emails, you sometimes use slang. You can be less formal, more conversational. You can use different fonts, colors, and emoticons. Personal emails go to like your family members and your friends. Business emails do not use slang. They're formal and they're to the point. They're professional. That means that we don't throw in stuff that we shouldn't throw in there. They stay with the traditional font. They have black text, and they don't use emoticons. Now, with your teachers, we're a little bit in between personal and formal. You still have to use business format. You still have to say, dear Mrs. Madison, or you should. But you can be more conversational. Think of it as like when you're talking to me in class, what you would say to me in class. You would not just go up to me and say, hey, Miss Madison, I need this. Or, what's my grade? You would lead into it. Hey, Mrs. Madison, I was looking at Progress Book and I noticed that I didn't have a grade in this. Same thing. Also, teachers tend not to mind, especially junior high teachers, if you use different fonts and different colors and sometimes even throw in an emoji. It doesn't bother us as much. To us, that's sort of like creativity. But don't get carried away. I don't want to see an email from you that has 250 different emoticons in it or emojis in it. Okay? So some email etiquette things that you should think about. Make sure your subject lines are clear and reflect the topic and urgency. Carefully consider who needs to be copied and only include those really needed. Ensure emails clearly define the issue, what you're asking them to do, and any deadlines that you may have. Read the emails before sending to make sure they're clear, concise, and correct. And when I say correct, make sure your spelling is correct and that you have punctuation in there and that it looks nice. And then this one I threw in there, work to properly manage your inbox. That means keep your inbox cleaned up to ensure your messages are not missed or lost. Now, I'm going to be showing you my email here in just a minute, and I apologize because it has like 3,000 emails in there. So mine, I have not followed this rule down here. but I'm working on it, okay? Now, some of the things that you should not do. Never, ever, ever send an email when you're angry. Or don't send out, misleading information or unprofessional information. Don't send out anything. Follow the rule in email that you would follow in real life, which is do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. So treat others the way you would want to be treated. Don't send out unnecessary emails or copy or reply to all or forward a whole bunch of things excessively. If you do that, people start throwing your emails in the trash. If you want to reply to an email, every time you reply to an email, you do not have to say, "Dear Mrs. Madison," again. If I send you an email and you're replying to me, you do not have to say, "Dear Mrs. Madison." You can reply to an email with "thank you" or "okay" or "oh, I understand now." You don't have to be as formal when you're replying to me. But if you're sending out an email for the first time, you should be professional about it. It says that you shouldn't do that, but you can when you're replying. Forward messages without explaining why it's being sent and what needs to be done, and I'll show you one of those in just a minute. Use email when another form of communication is more effective. If it's more effective for you to come talk to me directly, you should do that. Right now, email is your best bet, okay? So we're going to look at a few emails here. So this one was actually sent to me. It says in the subject line, "work. I turned in my late work. Please grade it." So some things that you should be aware of is, number one, this I should be capitalized. Period here. Please grade it. Well, let's think about how we could say that differently. Number one, it should start with "Dear Mrs. Madison." Maybe you could say, "I turned in my late work. When you get a chance, would you please grade it?" And then you would have your signature down here with a "thank you," some kind of closing, and then your signature. The next one is to Mr. Badenhop. No subject. "Hey, did you get my permission form?" No, "Dear Mr. Badenhop." And you should have a signature because, especially when you're sending it for the first time, even though we can see who it came from, so it's best to have a signature just to stay on the professional. Okay? Now, again, I will show you how to put a signature so that it automatically goes in every time you don't have to write it. Okay?
I usually say like "thanks, Trinity."
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And that's perfect. That's perfect.
Also, is this going to be recorded?
Yeah, this is recorded. This is being recorded. And yeah, the thanks would be your closing, and then Tommy would be the signature.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to have like the whole like your address.
No. Just your name, and it can just be your first name.
Okay.
So thanks or anything?
You would put thanks here. Yeah, you would say, "Dear Mr. Badenhop, hey." You wouldn't put "hey." "Dear Mr. Badenhop, did you get my permission form? Question mark. I left it." Actually, let me go on to the next one because that's where it has the right one. So here it says, "Mr. Badenhop." The subject is field trip permission. "Dear Mr. Badenhop, did you receive my permission form for the Washington, D.C. field trip? I placed it in your school mailbox this morning. Thank you, Tommy Boyd." Okay, now, Tommy could have just written Tommy and not worried about the Boyd, but it's being professional, okay? So you have to think professional with this. Now I'm going to go over to my email, and again, remember what I said, ignore how many things I have in here. Oh, look, I have 5,000. So I'm working on it. So up here, I'm starting with 2. So I'm going to say to Mr. Badenhop. And when I do this, I wanted to show you the CC. So I could go over here and say CC, and if you notice, it goes to a new line. Whoops, actually I didn't put in Mr. Badenhop's real email. Okay, and CC I'm going to put in here Miss Doyle. Okay, whoops. So now she's going to get a carbon copy. Now remember what I said, carbon copy means that Mr. Badenhop will be able to see that I sent a copy to Miss Doyle. Now if I wanted to put a blind carbon copy and put Mrs. Fiore on here, that means Miss Fiore would see that I sent it to Miss Doyle and Mr. Badenhop, but Mr. Badenhop and Miss Doyle would not know that I sent it to Miss Fiore. Now the only time you really do that is if you don't want a whole bunch of people seeing other people's addresses. This is sort of behind the scenes, and when you send things to people, you should be upfront and tell them that you're doing it. Now, like I said, for the announcements, when I send out the announcements, I always put my name up here too, but then I always BCC you guys because I don't want you seeing everybody's address. Okay, that would be a lot.
Could you also put everybody's name on it too?
You could,
So, like,
you could, but if you get too many names, let's say I was sending this to a whole bunch of people, like I'm going to be sending something out to the entire class. The problem with putting all the names up there is then it goes into spam because your spam filter sees it as spam. So that's why you want to put it in the CC, okay? Because the spam filter says, oh, you can only have 5 names in the 2 before I treat it as spam. Okay? So if you have less than 5 people, yes, you could put them all up here in the 2. I could put Miss Doyle and Miss Whitehair. But once I get past 5, then your Gmail filter will go, oh, wait a second, this must be spam. We're going to put it into a junk mail folder. Okay? So I have my
but couldn't the spam companies also put it all in the CC, and then it wouldn't be counted as spam?
If you can put it all in the CC, yeah, that wouldn't be counted as spam. They will take 150 addresses in the CC. Now, I say that Gmail takes 150 messages. Yahoo, I think only take 50 messages in the CC or 50 recipients in the CC. It just depends on the company. What I usually do is I put in the CC if I have a whole bunch, like I have for your morning announcements. I put it into the BCC, then I know it's not going to go in the spam. Unless you tell it to.
So it won't go on spam if you put it in the carbon copy?
No, it will not.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, that's what the carbon copy is there to sort of protect it from that spam folder. Okay?
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so then my subject should be clear and precise. So, computer, apps, class, test. Okay? So, they're going to see this and they're going to go, oh, okay. Actually, I should probably put testing, computer apps, lesson. Make it even more concise, okay, and clear. So, dear Mr. Badenhop and Mrs. Doyle. So you're just going to go through and you're going to be as clear and to the point as you can. Now, one of the things that you can, like I said, you can have your signature here, and I will put directions for your signature into, I'll put in how to add a signature into Google Classroom for you, so you can go through and it'll be a step-by-step thing. So you can add your own signature in here. And your signature could just be your first name, if that's all you want it to be. As a teacher, I have to have all this other stuff, okay? But I've seen people who have put quotes in there. They've put a Bitmoji in there, whatever you want. Now, this is basically the end of this lesson. I have a couple more things I want to explain to you before, let me stop sharing, before I let you go though. So tonight you have, where are you? There you are. Tonight you have homework. You're only having homework from me this week on Monday and Thursday, okay? For those of you who haven't finished keyboarding, keep keyboarding, okay? Because keyboarding will go on. We have to finish all the keyboarding lessons, all 18 lessons, by May 15th, all right? So if you're far behind, I'd catch up. May 15th is your deadline. Now, what happens if you're not finished? Then those last 2 weeks of school, you're going to be doing keyboarding for me.
What is are you gonna?
Go ahead.
Is there gonna be a test at the end,
Like we were doing before? I was trying to think of a way to do it, Catherine, and I really haven't figured out a good way, so I'm going to say no test. So those of you who have already taken the test, yeah, you're good. Those of you who haven't taken the test, yeah, we'll just have to hope that you are still good, right? So how many of you haven't taken the test yet? A whole bunch of you, right? Yeah. So, hey, you don't have to take it. Woohoo! Okay, so that's a positive thing, right? But tonight's homework has 3 things in it. The first thing is a Kahoot. You guys all like Kahoots, right? It's an easy one. The second part is you have to send me an email and you have to CC your parents on it. And the email has to tell me 3 things that you found interesting or learned new or didn't understand before now, okay? That came out of this lesson. And then the third thing is something that we're going to work on as a group. So I have my Monday, Thursday, second period class in here. I have my Monday, Thursday, 7th period class in here. And I have my Tuesday, Friday, I could be wrong on those days, class in here. Do I have a 2nd period and a 7th period Tuesday, Friday? Or just Monday, Thursday? Okay, whatever. I have 3 classes in here right now. I know, I'm so confused with this. Sia's down there laughing at me. I see you. So one of the things I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start a email story. So I'm going to put 2 sentences into this email story, and then I'm going to pass it on to the first person in your class. And then they're going to add 1 or 2 sentences to it to continue the story, and then they're going to forward it to the next person in your class. And eventually you're going to get it and you're going to forward it on to the next person, unless you're the last person in the class. See, I think you're the last person in your class. So, yeah. So when you send it on to the next person, let's say Louise gets it and she's going to send it to, I know Louise, I'm not sure who's after you, but let's say it's Olivia. I know it's not, but let's say it's Olivia. So you're going to forward it to Olivia. And then when you're also going to BCC me on it. All right? So why am I doing a blind carbon copy to me on it? So I make sure it doesn't get stuck somewhere at someone's house. Okay? So if I'm going to pick someone, I'm going to pick on Kate. I'm going to pick on Kate. So let's say Kate gets it and she goes, oh, I'm not going to answer this. This is silly. I know you won't do that, Kate. That's why I'm picking on you. So it just sits at her house and she doesn't forward it on. I will know. Okay? So that way we make sure that everyone answers this. And then when I get done, I will share all 3 stories with all 3 classes so you guys can see what happened in this story. This will be your practice of forwarding something and of BCCing something. Does anyone have any questions? So you have 3 assignments. The Kahoot, the story, which you may not get today, and the email you have to send to me and your parents. Oh, by the way, the story. When you get the email for the story, you have 12 hours to answer it. If you answer it early, you get extra points. Okay? So if you get it and you answer it like in 3 hours, or even if you answer it in 11 hours and 58 seconds, or 58 minutes, sorry, 11 hours and 58 minutes, you get extra credit points. Okay?
Do
Okay.
you get more extra credit if you do it earlier?
Well, I was going to do that, but the problem is some of you, let's say someone sends it out at 11 o'clock at night, and the next person doesn't get up, they've already gone to bed, and they don't get up until 7 o'clock. I don't want them to be penalized for that. Okay? So you get extra credit points if it's early.
And this is all in Google Classroom, right?
No, this will be through email. Yeah, all the directions are in Google Classroom. Yeah, all the directions are in Google Classroom. Yeah, or will be at 1 o'clock today.
For the email that we just have to send to our parents and you,
Mhm.
we send it directly to you and BCC or CC it to our parents.
You send it directly to me and CC your parents. Okay? Any other questions?
When are these?
Oh.
Things that we learned.
3 things that you learned, or 3 things that you found interesting, or 3 things that you went, oh, I didn't know that. Okay?
Okay.
Henry?
When are these assignments due?
The email that you're getting today with the 3 things, those are due by Wednesday. That's due by Wednesday. The Kahoot by Wednesday. This letter that's going around that we're forwarding on with the story in it, as long as I have it done by next Monday, we're good. Okay, I'm going to try to get it done by next Monday. But some of the classes, one of the classes has 25 in it, and one of the classes has 8 in it. So,
And will do we have to write like from Henry Omni or from whoever?
on the story?
Yes.
No. Because on the story, your name will be on there, and you'll just be marking it off, like a highlight off. Okay, that way we'll know who it's from.
How do we know who to send it to next?
Because I'll have a list of names on the email.
Okay.
And what you'll do is you'll just highlight your name so that we know it's from you, and then send on to the next person.
Okay.
Okay? Anyone else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With like these email thing with our parents, my dad doesn't have an email, so do I just email it to my mom?
Yep, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Email it. If your parents don't have email, send it to another one of your teachers. So like BC or CC Miss Doyle or Miss Whitehair or Miss Gilbert.
Would they be fine with that?
I will let them know. I'll send it.
And could we also send it if our parents have like Yahoo
Yep.
emails?
Yes, you can. Mhm. Yep. Okay. Anything?
I have a question about my survey, so can I just wait till the end?
Yes, you can.
Wait, so I have another question related to like, how do you forward the message?
Thank you. Thank you, John. Really good question. Let me go back to my email and let me show you. Well, let me do this first. Let me turn it on so you can see. I didn't even show that, did I? That would be helpful. Okay. And forwarding a message. So here I have a message here that I got from about a password. So if I wanted to forward it to them, I could hit reply right here. But right next to it are 3 little dots that say more, and I just click on forward. And then I type in who I'm going to go to. Oops. Okay. and then I write in whatever message I want. What they will see it when they get it is they will see the original message from whatever I'm forwarding to them plus my new message. Okay? So what you're doing is you're just sending them, you're hitting the forward, and then you're sending the next part of the story. All right? And on that, you would, like, I would be saying to Miss Johnston, but I would also BCC me. So, and then you would go, the night was scary, and the little dog was lost. Okay?
So you will be able to see all the emails?
You
that
will be
everyone
able to
sent?
see everything. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So you'll want to read all of them when you get it. If you're one of the first people, that's good because you only have a couple to read. But if you're one of the last people, especially in that class that has 25, you'll have a lot to read. But you'll have to read it. That's the only way you're going to be able to know what to add to the story. Okay? And the story is going to start with the dog. Sorry. I'll even send you a picture of him. Okay? Anyone else?
Can you send an email to yourself?
You can. I do it all the time. You just put your name in the to line or in a CC line or in the BCC line. Yep.
So then you can reply to yourself?
Yep. You could, if you're really bored, do an email pen pal with yourself. I know. It would be really interesting, wouldn't it? You could answer one on your phone email, and then it would go to your to a computer, and you could answer the other one there. That way, you could have two personalities going back and forth with each other. But it would still be you. It'd be like talking to yourself, only through email. Any other questions?
Me.
Yep. Hi, Peyton.
Are you sending all of these out at one?
Say that again, one more time.
Are you sending all the emails out at one?
Yes, I'm sending. I'm going to try as close to one as I can get. I'm going to send so it will start. The first email will start at for each person at one, and then you'll eventually get it somewhere down the line. No, I'm not going to send it to all of you. I'm just going to send it to the first person on the list. So I know Henry Almany is one of the people that gets it first. Who else? I'm trying to think. Kate, I think Kate Arzola gets it first in her group. I can't remember who the third person is. It doesn't start with an A. So you guys will be the first ones who get it, and then you'll just send it on. So
will you send out like a class roster saying like who's
everyone's
like
name will be
before?
on the email. Yeah, it'll be on the first email that I send out. Everyone's name will be there, and I'll have their email. It won't have it'll be like, your name will be devigan.louise@oakwoodsschools.org, and then whoever's right below you will be the person you send it to. Okay? And if you have any questions, you guys know you can always email me. Ha ha ha. Since I just taught you how. Are there any more questions? Okay, this meet is officially done. Woohoo! I love seeing all your faces, by the way. I miss you so much as you're dropping off. Bye. Okay, Serenity, we're almost there.